Hello friends, welcome to Civil's Right YouTube channel. My name is Avinash Agarwal, and in this video I'll be discussing with you the following topic. The cost of being wrong is less than the cost of doing nothing. So this is a topic which was asked in the essay paper of Civil Services main examination in 2024. This is the last topic of the paper, right? So with this particular video, I will conclude the 2024 essay wala playlist. Okay, I have done all the videos for all the 8 topics with this particular video done. In this discussion, we'll be focusing on introduction, body, conclusion, the kind of approach that we can take towards creating this particular essay. And I want you to do an honest attempt on your own and send your scanned copy of handwritten essays on support@civilsright.com for a free evaluation, right? So the cost of being wrong is less than the cost of doing nothing. आपको काफी सारे examples देने पड़ेंगे in the body, more importantly, जहां पर you show that why doing nothing or inaction is not an option, and doing something, trying to do something, taking some action can yield positive results to you, right? So at an individual level, at a business level, at a governmental level, at a societal level, from various different fields such as sports, from science, you can give so many examples to prove that action is better than inaction. Because when you're doing inaction, the chances of progress, the chances of positive outcomes is zero. When you're taking some action, if it's a well strategized, well thought out action, then there is at least a possibility of getting some kind of a positive outcome. That is what the crux of this topic is. So let us start. So this topic, the focus of this topic is on decision making, right? That we all have to take crucial decisions. You as bureaucrats will also have to take crucial decisions. So whether it is in governance or in business or in personal growth, the cost of being wrong is less than the cost of doing nothing. It's a very powerful framework for moving ahead and taking actions. Let us first speak about, let us say, the governance and the policy making sphere. You can speak in whichever order you want. You can first speak about personal, then you can speak about societal, then you can speak about governance, or you can do it the other way around. You can focus on themes. That's also fine. You can do it whichever way you want to do it, right? So the times that we are living in, we need to make urgent choices. We need to make quick decisions. One recent example was COVID-19 pandemic, where quick and decisive action had to be taken, right? So globally across the world, stringent lockdowns were applied in many countries, and in many countries it wasn't done. So those countries which undertook travel restrictions, which sent out public health advisories, they did well for themselves and they were able to curtail their losses. So New Zealand, Taiwan, etc., they were able to curtail their losses. So swift decision making, you can see, was able to save lives quite literally in that particular instance. On the other hand, if you are being indecisive, if you are not willing to, take action because you are afraid that if it goes wrong, then it will backfire on you. So in that indecision, the crisis will be exacerbated and the consequences will become far worse than what they would have otherwise been. So you need to take calculated risks. You need to, of course, hear the expert's opinion, but you need to take calculated risk. That is what the idea over here is. If you don't take the right calls, or if you don't even try, then the outcome will be health crisis, the outcome will be economic downturns, the outcome will be a diminished capacity to respond to future challenges, because you would have lost the goodwill, you would have lost the support base, right? So it's better to try and take the right set of actions irrespective of the outcomes rather than not doing anything at all. To contextualize this particular discussion in India, you can look at this particular news item which was published quite widely in the month of April 2020, where WHO is praising Prime Minister Modi's timely and tough decision on Corona Lockdown 2.0. Right? So India, as you all may recall, underwent the stringest possible lockdown, right? Strictest possible lockdown. Of course, the criticism was that lockdown was announced in a very sudden manner, and it didn't leave a lot of room for a lot of people to undertake proper travel arrangements. So it was very haphazard. It did result into a lot of people walking back homes because they didn't have much option left apart from that. So that is the negative outcome for sure. but if you are highlighting something positive out of that decision, then this is something which you can highlight. Now this saying, right, that this particular saying that we are discussing over here, that cost of being wrong is less than the cost of doing nothing. This is very apparent in the business world. All those companies who have done nothing are no longer there, right? They have been killed, they have been demolished, their businesses have been taken away, because unless you are willing to innovate, unless you are willing to adapt, you will not be able to survive. So when you are innovating, you will not have a strike rate of 100, right? Probably 95 out of 100 innovations of yours may not work at all. They will appear as a waste of time, waste of money, waste of energy, lack of focus, etc., etc. But the 5 that will actually work, or even less than that, that will actually work, will be blockbusters, right? So that's the idea that you need to keep in mind, that experimentation is the key, trying is the key. So the concept that is now being used is that of fail fast. That if you know that, let's say, 1 out of 100 idea is going to work, so it's very important that you fail very quickly on 99 ideas so that you can reach that one idea that is going to work. So don't take a lot of time on each idea. Test it out, try it out, build a minimum viable product, see what comes out of it, see if people are willing to pay for it, and you will be getting a fair idea as to whether it is going to work or not. That's the simplest way of looking at things. Okay? You can give examples over here. The biggest and the best example that you can give is the emergence of Netflix and the complete demolition of Blockbuster. So what was Blockbuster? It was in US a leader in video rentals, and they failed to keep up with the digital revolution. They stuck to their brick and mortar model. They stuck to their idea that, okay, people will be taking, let us say, CDs or DVDs or cassettes, etc., on rent, and they will be giving it back, etc., etc. Netflix came and completely changed the way that model was working. So the idea is that Blockbuster's inaction costed Blockbuster quite dearly, right? It led to its downfall. You can give Nokia ka example, which I'm sure you all would be aware of, that how Nokia at one point of time was a runaway leader in the mobile phones segment, only to be completely demolished by Blackberries and Apples of the world later on, by Samsungs of the world later on, right? So the idea is that, coming back to my Blockbuster example, so Netflix's streaming model was the future, which Blockbuster couldn't really stand up against because they weren't even trying. So all these startups that are coming up across the world, they're taking risks. They're trying to do things differently. They're trying to make mistakes, learn from them, improvise, and try to arrive at a model which is going to be, let us say, a success in the longer run. So this culture of learning, this idea that, mistakes, they can foster innovation and resilience. So the idea over here is that it is better to be wrong. It is better to make losses on, innovations that didn't work rather than not do anything at all. So the saying is that bring ideas in and treat them royally, because one of them may be the king. So there is a cost associated with bringing ideas in, because not all your ideas are going to be king. Only one of them is going to be the king. But you have to try, 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 try. To again contextualize this problem in India's case, so there was a point in time when Indian banks, they were completely refusing to lend money, especially the public sector banks. They were completely refusing to lend money, or they were very reluctant to lend money. Why? Because NPAs had ballooned up. I'm sure you are aware what non-performing assets are. NPAs are bad loans. These are loans on which the bank is neither receiving the interest nor receiving the principal. So essentially this is money which is not going to be recovered. Let's assume that is what NPA is. So banks were under a lot of scrutiny. Bank managers, they were scared of CBI, CVC and CAG. And bank managers were thinking that if we lend money today, and let us say that if this account becomes NPA when we retire, then we will be called back, hauled back into the court by CVC, CBI, CAG, and they will ruin our lives, they will spoil our lives. So let's do one thing. Let's not take any action at all. Inaction, no action, no lending. Let's not do anything. Why? Because if you try to lend, and by chance if you do wrong lending, by chance if your account turns NPA, then the entire blame will be on you. So bankers felt that no action is better than wrong action. Now you know that if credit supply is not there, then investment will not be there. If credit supply is not there, then demand will not be there. If credit supply is not there, transactions will not be happening, which will be a net negative for the economy, which is exactly what the finance minister was trying to tell the bankers, that please don't be afraid of CBI, CVC, CAG. Please give loan to eligible borrowers. Of course, follow the prudential guidelines, do all the safety checks, and we will support you. So again, you can see over here that the kind of paralysis that was witnessed in India's banking sector between 2015 and 2018, 2019, that paralysis was clearly indicating inaction, and that inaction would have killed the economy. We cannot afford that kind of inaction. Coming to the personal front, right? So it is better to have tried and failed than never to have tried at all. Because if you haven't tried, then you would never know, right? So there is this very famous quote that there is this girl which is, or somebody who is standing at the edge of the cliff, right? She's having, let us say, wings around her, and her mother is, prodding her along that you have wings, don't worry, you will fly. So the girl says that what if I fall? But the mother says that what if you fly? Right? So mother knows that she's having wings, she will be able to fly. So that's the idea, right? That the fear of failure should never stop you from trying at a personal level. If you want growth at a personal level, if you want progress, right, then you have to be willing to take risks in your careers, in your relationships, in your creative pursuits. If you feel that you deserve a better job, if you feel that you can have your own startup, you will have to try. You will have to jump. If you feel that you can be in a better relationship where you are having better respects, you have to try. That's the basic idea over here. So this hesitancy to apply, this hesitancy to jump has to be reduced. It has to be rationalized. You have to take calculated risks. You have to plan, strategize, and see what comes out of it, right? So you can give your own personal examples, as many as you would like in this particular section. Giving you some historical anecdotes, right? So Gandhiji was the leader of our freedom struggle. So he had to take tough decisions because if Gandhiji was doing inaction or he was not taking any decisions, then things could have gotten really bad at some point of time. Like for example, after the Chauri Chaura incident, I'm sure you must be aware of the Chauri Chaura incident. After the Chauri Chaura incident, Gandhiji decided that I will call off the non-cooperation movement, right? So that decision was heavily criticized by a lot of sections of India's leadership. They said that how can you withdraw a national movement based on one incident somewhere in some remote corner of the country? It is, not making sense. But Gandhiji said that that one incident will give the government the authority to wreak havoc upon the population. That one incident where policemen were killed, right? Policemen who were serving the Britishers were killed, right? So that incident will basically give the Britishers license to, impose untold brutalities upon, innocent population. So he said that I'm going to withdraw this movement. This is on me. It's my blunder. It's my mistake, right? So he was not willing to, be on the side of inaction. He took the decision. He said, I am withdrawing it. So even if that was a costly decision, but he took it because he didn't want to not do anything and then expose the population to untold brutalities of the Britishers. So that is the idea that you have to keep in mind. That proactive decision making, where you're facing an uncertain situation, that is important. Everybody has to do it. Every leader, every captain, every master of the ship has to do it. Same this quote of action and inaction. This can be seen in the case of Stanislav Petrov incident. So what was this Stanislav Petrov incident? Right. So Stanislav Petrov, he was lieutenant colonel in Soviet Air Defense Forces. So when he was on duty, so he saw that the early warning satellite system was indicating that there was a missile launch which had happened from United States and missiles were coming towards Russia or the Soviet Union of that time, right? So multiple incoming missiles is what the system was flagging. Obviously that was a pressurized situation in which Stanislav Petrov had to take a decision, right? So it was a grave circumstance and decision had to be made. Now the protocol said that if a missile is being detected, then you have to immediately inform your higher authorities. But Stanislav Petrov took a moment. He thought that if I inform the higher authorities that missiles are coming, so they may be inclined to ask for a retaliatory strike. So Petrov broke the protocol. He reasoned that this warning system may be faulty. Because if somebody is actually attacking you, then they will not send one or two missiles or few missiles. They will send a large number of missiles to completely incapacitate your abilities to retaliate. So he had this intuition, and he took a moment and eventually found out that yes, there is actually a fault in the early warning system and there is no missiles which are coming on our way, right? So that's what the discovery was. So the fact that he chose to act thoughtfully, right? He took this reasoned course, clearly prevented a potential nuclear catastrophe that would have been very, very costly, right? So he didn't choose inaction. Following a standard protocol without applying your mind, that is inaction, right? Applying your mind, taking an action which maybe not be keeping with the protocol. Stanislav could have been wrong, but he wasn't wrong, right? So that's the idea over here. Okay. So many a times if you take action, the only thing that you stand to lose is that what if your action is wrong, but what if your action is right? So at least you will be giving yourself a chance. So it's always better than inaction, right? Sometimes it's not always. I mean, I can give you countless other examples where being patient can also be helpful, which is where the other part of this essay lies, right? That the cost of being wrong is less than the cost of doing nothing. So sometimes doing nothing can also be helpful, right? Like to come up with immediate examples, many a times we are willing to break off our relationships, many a times we are willing to throw in our papers, many a times we are willing to give up, right? Many a times we don't want to persist, right? So at that point of time, not doing anything can also be helpful. So counter examples can also be cited, but in this particular essay I have given you a lot of examples in this particular frame, right? So cost of being wrong is less than the cost of doing nothing. Many a times it helps you in taking the right decisions. In businesses it can help you, in personal development it can help you. The paralysis which we spoke about in the banking sector, right? The fear of failure which keeps us behind, it results into stagnation, it results into missed opportunities, it results into regrets many a times. So sometimes action over inaction is better. It can empower you, it can give you the confidence. So having a proactive mindset, learning from mistakes, valuing the lessons which are there in the journey can lead towards success, resilience, dynamism, and towards responsiveness. And given the kind of uncertainty and complexity that today's decision makers face, you do not have the luxury of inaction, because if you are not taking any action, then what's the point of occupying the chair? Please get out of the chair. So I've given you a lot of examples which can go in your body, right? You have to decide what the hook for the introduction will be. You have to give a yadgar, shandar, fantastic essay which is very free flowing, right? Try to create your best, and I promise that we will come back with a detailed evaluation for you and we'll walk with you in this journey. Thank you so much. All the best, and Jai Hind to all of you.